There's that thing again. That's up there. No moon in the sky tonight, but that's that thing. You can see like a red light, kind of a blue light. There's 3 lights there. But it just sits there. I did a video on it last week. It's always near the moon, but I think it's just always there. And then the moon comes and moves in its path. I don't know what it is. I've talked to friends about it too, and they don't know what it is either. It could just be some, I can't think of what could be that high up and maintain, like, I don't know. It could be something simple, like some kind of military thing or something, but I'm afraid to ask people because I don't want them to look at it and not see it, and then it would freak me out. So, not in a hurry to do that. I was just reading something about this poor guy that committed suicide because he was arrested for being inside the Capitol on January 6th. That thing they call an insurrection now, or an attack on the country. I don't know, man. I watched that whole thing all day, like in real time, from people with Periscope cameras or just people on their phones, you know. And that wasn't any insurrection. That was nothing like that. It was nothing like that. You know, I watched the police opening the gates and waving people in. You know, waving them in. And they had these ropes set up. These, like these velvet ropes, like you have like a movie theater or something. And people are just walking in between the ropes. It's almost like they were doing a tour. I mean, it was. There was all kinds of people there, like different kinds of people. There's some older folks and stuff. And as I'm watching it, like, you can see the stuff that's like, of course they have people there that are going to do bad shit so they can blame it on everybody else later. Like, there's always that stuff going on. I was watching one guy's camera, and they're over the stairwell, and he's pointing down and goes, these guys are in Antifa. They're in Antifa. And you know they were in there, right? Disguised as, like, Trump supporters or something. It's just so obvious, the whole thing. And now they're, like, when they talk about it, like mainstream people or like a Stephen Colbert or someone, they refer to it as like this dark day when the country was attacked by insurrectionists. It's weird because like it was like a different reality because I watched it and that's not what happened at all. And then you kind of think, well, maybe this is how they kind of change history or shape history. You know what I mean? Like, we're watching that happen in real time. Because you look at our history, our fraudulent history. I mean, world history is fraudulent, but American history in particular. It was Norm Macdonald. Or maybe George Carlin. No, I think it was Norm Macdonald. I think it was Norm Macdonald. He was like, I was reading a history book, and turns out the good guys won every single time. I mean, right? Of course. So it's always going to be reframed. It's just that this is a case where we watched it be reframed in real time. I remember seeing John Schaefer there because I was a fan of his band. His band's good. They're like an American power metal band, Iced Earth. Definitely made and influenced, and they were cool. I like that band. I'd occasionally pop in on them and check out new stuff they were doing. Ripper Owens sang for them for a while. I got from Judas Priest, and I remember seeing him there on the video, going like, "Oh man, what's he doing there?" Anyone should know. You don't go to these things. You don't protest. Never go to any of this stuff ever. Whenever someone is telling you to go into the streets to have your voice heard, never do that. Never do that. You stay home. You stay home and don't talk to anybody about it. Crazy. Especially these days, like right now, they have been in this kind of area where they're just trying to get people to stick their necks out to try to figure out who in the future might be a problem for them. That's what I believe the whole Trump exercise was about. Identifying people who aren't with the plan. Because he's one of them. He's a Saturn worshiper. It's funny when they show pictures of his place in New York, his home there. It's like all Saturn stuff. All Saturn worship stuff. So it's crazy. But yeah, he's with the Jesuits, which is a separate cult from the Moloch people, who are the kid eaters. The Trump people, they, again, Satan worshippers, but they don't eat the kids. It's one of the three major cults. The other cult is the one from the East that the South Korean president got caught with about 5-6 years ago now. And everyone was horrified. She was in a cult? Like a cult? You know, not knowing that these cults from the world always have since antiquity. It's just fucking how it's been from the jump, you know, or at least the jump of what we understand to be, you know, history. But for when they did a Blackboard Jungle, you know, they took the school over. And since then, these cults have always existed. They operate the same way. And there's three major ones that run the world. But anyway, so he's part of the evil plan, of course. What he was meant to do is to get people, is by showing your support for him, you're showing that you're not in support of the evil plan. And they're trying to get people that, like I said, would cause them a problem in the future. That's all it is. That's all it is. Any kind of revolution is not going to happen by meeting other people and getting together. You can't. That's not how this works. You know, there's guys that have, they're an open carry movement and militias like Show Me Baby, the guy I watch all the time. He's great. And I mean, if you want to organize in your area just to watch you and your own people, that's, you know, fine. That's awesome. Take care of each other. Make sure no fuckery goes on, like Show Me Baby did during Hurricane Harvey. But he's not trying to get like an underground resistance army going. You know, that's silly. You can't. There is no way to do that. I mean, I don't even mean in a way like it'd be hard to do practically, but you can't fight this thing with force. You know, I know people have even these grand ideas of maybe having some kind of guerrilla warfare, and perhaps that would happen, but they're not going to win. And it isn't a thing about, you know, you have these like Team Blue people, like, you can't fight the military. It's like, dude, they're not going to be fighting the military. They're going to be fighting you. They're coming for you. You know what I mean? I don't think they understand that part. No one's fighting the military. Even if you could, you wouldn't win because you can't fight this thing with aggression. As a tentacle of the beast, it's got the lockdown on aggression. You can't fight fire with fire. If you attack it in any way, or any of its tentacles, or subsidiaries of tentacles, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to doom yourself. There's no beating it that way. The way to beat it, or the way to survive it, is to withdraw from it. The Chinese finger trap thing. And people get upset when they hear that. It's like, well, you gotta just stay in your house, pussy, hard. It's like, yep, that's what you gotta do. Stay in your house. You don't meet up with anybody. You know, because you're not gonna gain anything. You're gonna lose, and you're gonna hurt you and the people around. The way out of this isn't gonna be fighting back in a physical sense, like getting some resistance army together and end up turning the country into some hellhole like a lot of these other countries in the Middle East or Eastern Europe, where there's like endless civil war that just goes on forever. That's not the path to victory. We don't know the path to victory yet. We don't know what it is. I have an idea, and it's not going to be meeting up with people. Never meet up with people. Never leave your house. Never go to these protests. No matter how benign it seems, like, oh, it's just, you know, stand against whatever, you know, mandates for whatever it is. Don't go. Don't go. You're not helping anything. The only thing you're doing is getting yourself into trouble or into some kind of future trouble. No one likes to hear it, stay home. Like, well, it's good to sit inside and do nothing. Like, yeah, for now, that's what we have to do. And like, and what? If you come to your house and drag you up by your hair, and this, if that's what happens, if that's what happens, I know it doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't make sense. And I don't have like a good answer for what you can do other than nothing right now. Other than nothing. I think what's going to happen for us is not going to be something physical. It's going to be metaphysical. Metaphysical. That's what it is, though. It's going to be an ascension out of here. I think we're almost there. I know it's for some people it's hard to hear this kind of stuff, and I get it. I mean, I come from a military family. My dad was in the military. Uncles, cousins. You know, they're fighters, man. But you can't fight this enemy in any traditional sense, any traditional way. The only way to hurt it is to withdraw from it, not to feed it. Aggression's gonna feed it. It's the fucking creamy sheave problem. It's just gonna make them stronger. We don't know the way yet. We don't know the way to victory yet. And it's not victory in a sense where we're going to win over them. They're the beast. You don't beat the beast. There's no beating the beast. There's transcending the beast. There's transcending this area. And we will. And I know that's not satisfying, but that's, in my opinion, what I believe is going to be the way forward here. Has nothing to do with meeting up and making an army or even making a fucking group of any kind. You know, they'll infiltrate that. There'll already be guys there waiting for you after you set up your first meeting. Guys dressed in really nice Abercrombie and Finch clothes. The same watches, the same shoes, the same sunglasses. You know, telling you they're really behind you, and let's take this up a notch. You know a guy that can get this kind of X weapon or something. You know what I mean? That's what you'll walk into. That is not the way to go. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, if you have friends locally, like, you know, like Show Me Babies, part of the open carry movement, you know, he has ties to friends that have, you know, groups, but their situation is not to go fight the government. It's just to take care of their own people locally. Or at least I believe that's what his situation is. He's just worried about taking care of himself and his people, his family, and the people that in his circles. It's not going out and doing maneuvers. It's not the way to go. It's not going to be solved by that. It's, you know, people will kind of hear this kind of talk and be like, oh, that's hippie, dippy, woo-woo, pussy shit. But if that's what you want to call it, man, but that's the only way right now. I believe there is going to be a way. There will be a way out of it. Not to beat it. You're not going to beat it. There's not going to be any victory or anything. Or victory over what? It's going to be the same shitty fucking system. Like, you know, you beat whoever's in charge, and then, well, who's in charge? Well, no one. It's just, the whole thing has to end. I don't just mean the American way of life or the way we're living or the world government. It just means this whole place. We're getting out of this whole place. And unless you have some sort of understanding of what the situation is, even a little bit, like it would be hard for like someone completely uninitiated in esoteric subjects or things like the stuff I talk about here. They just wouldn't understand. They'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, you know? I wouldn't have that conversation with them. I don't have conversations like that with many people. I do with like you guys online, or like-minded people online. And I never try to meet up. That ain't never gonna happen. They want you to meet up. They're waiting for you to meet up. They're gonna be meeting you. They are desperate for that. A long time ago, I think they thought they were going to have a better hold on this domestic terrorism thing, like single white males. Oh, see, I just said the fucking T word. Whatever. You know how they're trying to paint the biggest problem in America is like white supremacy. I don't even know what the fuck that means. How? What do I mean? Like, there's only like two ways that you could have like white supremacy. You have to have a white supremacy group. And there's no group. Like who? When? How could that even exist? So the other place that they're worried about it is in your own mind. Your thoughts. They want those criminalized. Like I've seen people getting dragged on social media and stuff as being white supremacists, even though they're not, right? But I always think like, you know, what if this guy really was a white supremacist? He thought white people were supreme. They were the best out of anybody. And he thought that. But he's not acting on it. He's not doing anything. He doesn't have an organization. He's not in charge of firing or hiring. I'm just making up some hypothetical character who is a white supremacist. But he has, he feels that whites are the best and everybody else is garbage. They want to, like, criminalize that guy. They want to criminalize his thoughts. I mean, of course, there's always mob action, you know, come and burn your house down and all. So just for having thoughts, you know, this comes back to why they want to get inside your mind. You know, they already are. I mean, they've been there for a while, but they don't want you to have the solace of your own thoughts. You know, they don't want you to have free association, like deciding who you want to let into your circles, who you want to let near you. I mean, shit, they don't want you even avoiding people on the street if they had their way. I mean, if I had one of those Indiana Jones red lines showing how I move around, the ADL would be very unhappy with my pathing. They would call it like racist. No, it's fucking survivalist. But they don't want you to have that discernment. They want to take that discernment away from you too. You can't go at this with force. It's just not going to work for you. That's not the way. Eventually we'll know the way. for those of us that are here, there's not that many comparatively to the population, but we're here. And once whatever that magic number, that certain I was thinking of the fucking, that certain what the French call, I don't know what. No, when you reach what is that word? This is where the Alzheimer's kicks in. When the number of aware people reaches the needed amount, I'm losing I've lost a turn of phrase here. It's not new though. This is part of being an elderly man. Then we're going to know. We're just going to we're going to transcend this place. So what are you going to do? You're going to just like float? You're going to float out of the area? Maybe, yeah. Yeah, maybe. Just watch out for your family. And watch out for your family doesn't mean you have to go out and do fucking maneuvers. That's nothing. That's just, you're not gonna fight these people. They want you to. Anything you give them, any way you aggress on them, is gonna help them, not you. So yeah, that poor dude that I started this thing off with was caught up there, and they had like a couple pictures of him there, and he got arrested just for being there. He was let in, or when he went there, he said the doors were open, and all he did was go in and take pictures, and he stayed between the ropes, you know. And they arrested him. He's facing all these T charges, you know, and he consulted his lawyer, like, well, what should I do? And the lawyer, of course, told him, plead guilty. And then he pled guilty, and now he's going to prison. The lawyer knew that. He's on that team, too. It's all one big team. You know, one big team we're not on. So, in his despair, he committed suicide, sadly. He killed himself. You know, people are upset, and they're like, these people will pay. Don't worry about that shit. You can't, that's a hard thing, too. Vengeance is the Lord's. You're not going to get revenge on these people. These people, whether they pay or not, doesn't matter in the larger scheme thing. And again, I'm saying all shit that no one wants to hear. But it's the way we have to do this. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be done, but I know how it's not going to be done. You can't aggress on the beast in any way. And as far as those people getting what's coming to them, if everything works out, and it will, they're not even going to matter. None of it's going to matter. None of that's going to matter. And it is going to work out. There's great things for all of us. We have an incredibly wonderful future, man. We have an amazing, amazing future. You're a sovereign being. You've always existed. How are you doing? You've always existed. You always will exist. Don't get too caught up in what happens here. And don't meet up with your friends to fucking pull maneuvers. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.